interesting thing about making coffee from home is it's quite a therapeutic process, and I quite enjoy the chilled aspect of it. You can dial it in the way you want. You're not in the hands of a potentially inexperienced barista. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing. You probably saw the title, and I must say it's a little bit of a misleading one, because I always feel that one of my biggest creative red flags, if you want to call it that, is I thoroughly despise being labeled or defined as something. So one of which is I don't like when people say I'm a photographer or just a photographer. For whatever reason, I don't know, or whatever it is. I used to be a designer, or I still design, but I also didn't like when people would say, are you a graphic designer? Or I would just have to introduce myself as a graphic designer. And lately I've just been putting the moniker over myself that I'm just a creative, because I think it's broad enough that it allows me to be and do a whole bunch of things without the pressure of only being known as one particular thing. But yeah, so the point of this video really is not just a bit of a vlog situation, which people seem to like the last one, even though I recorded that months ago. I do also think it's important, and I want to stress this for any creative who's watching this, listening to this. If you are stuck by the pressure of starting something, my advice or my advice would be, whatever equipment you have, if you're stuck by the fact that you don't have a camera or mics or whatever it is, I would just say, if you have a phone and you want to start that YouTube channel or that podcast, then go for it. I know it sounds pretty cliche to say, but I think the market isn't too oversaturated. There's enough space, there's enough voices. We need more people to do things, because rather have a bunch of voices than the same old voices, if that makes sense. Me included. I mean, I feel like I'm in the camp of wanting to start something but never feeling like I'm brave enough to do it. So I guess that's what these videos are going to be. It's just me doing my day-to-day things and kind of sharing an opinion or sharing my view on something. But today is also a little bit of a catfish episode. I'll get to that shortly. But yeah, just do it, man. Make your coffee at home, make your tea at home, and just make and create. Do your thing, man. Don't let the world stop you. So, like I said, this is a bit of a catfish episode, because as much as I'm talking about how I don't like to be defined as something, and I even titled this, I'm not a photographer, I wanted to spend this time actually reviewing some of my favorite photos that I've ever taken. And I was super inspired by Peter McKinnon's latest video. We released it like sometime this week. You know, Peter McKinnon, the OG photography YouTuber. I think if you're a certain era of YouTube consumption, especially as a content creator or someone who takes photos or does filmmaking, there's certain YouTubers who kind of like, you kind of hold them in high esteem, and for sure McKinnon is one of them. And I just took the time, because I had just posted that vlog that I failed to continue to make, and I was like, you know what, it would be nice to just kind of go through the catalog of my photography history and just with you all review it and just show you the different stages, because I think a lot of these speak to like even the different styles that I enjoy. Contrary to popular belief as a photographer, or as photography being something that I do, that I enjoy doing, I'm not a big fan of taking photos of people. Hot take. I think it's awesome. Like, I think portraiture photography is like the most beautiful thing, but it's not my favorite thing. I would love to like shoot for like a Time magazine, GQ, like those kind of proper studio, like with guys who are like really good in front of camera, that like look amazing, or like really well known or high profile people, just to where your photo becomes like a part of history. Like I think of those like classic presidential portraits or those photos of like dignitaries and stuff. Would love to be in the annals of history in one of those, but one day. But I love landscape photography. I think it's so awesome, like to be able to capture a moment. If you're just taking a photo of like a beautiful field or a mountain, or you wait all day for that perfect open sky, it's just the best. I love it so much. So a lot of those speak to that. There are a few portraits in here, but yeah, a lot of that is photography. First up, probably not like the most, to you might be like quite a photo you could just take on your phone or something, but I love this photo. I took it on the Sea Point Promenade back in like 2022. Was it 22? I think it was probably around there. And I just love it. The colors, the time I took it, golden hour. The sun was just baking on this part of the buildings, of the kind of Greenpoint side of the prom, and yeah, I just love it, man. I just think it's like beautifully composed. I love the negative space of the sky, and a lot of these I took on like not the camera I'm using now. The camera I'm using now I only got this year, so a lot of these cameras are either, a lot of these photos are taken either like on my phone or like a really underpowered camera. And this I actually took on the same day, facing the prom. And again, for those of you who don't know, I have like a huge love for like ships. I think it's like one of my few childhood interests I've carried into adulthood. Um, and I just waited until the ship was kind of like perfectly centered in this frame, more or less centered, and I just took the photo. But I still wanted to create a scene where you kind of saw, where it wasn't just the ship in the sea, which is also would have been a cool photo, but to kind of capture that like golden hour, the waves were coming in, and to bring in that human element. There's a YouTuber and photographer named James Popsy who I think he's probably my favorite photographer in the world right now. He has a whole series where he dubs it Human Nature, where he takes photos, where he mixes like human-made things in nature, and I kind of wanted to pay homage to that with this man-made brilliant piece of machinery, this ginormous ship, this cargo ship, but the serene nature of the sand, and then I guess the imbalance by this almost crushing wave towards the kind of middle to background of this image. I thought it all worked out so beautifully. These two, I took these in the UK on my first solo overseas trip. I was about 21 years old, 22 years old when I took these. I think I was 22. No, I was 21 when I took these. And I took these on my phone. I had just gotten the iPhone 8 Plus when it was new. And I took these. You can kind of tell the editing style. I edited these with VSCO. OG, like Instagram people know about VSCO. That's like proper era Instagram. And yeah, I think again, just speaks to the fact that you don't need like a high-powered camera to compose an image, to take a really good image. I love these so much. The cars in front of these beautiful houses, the road was kind of tilting, so I tried to like align it the best I could, where it didn't feel like I was like also leaning. Could have been better, but I mean, I was a child, I was younger. But this statue of King Arthur against this serene bay. It's called Tintagel. It's the ruins of the castle that they say King Arthur was, where he ruled from. And it's just ruins now, but this just kind of speaks to just so much. No sacrifice, no victory is what I called this on Instagram. And I was just like, I feel like it really spoke to that moment. Yeah, I thought it was really cool. This is my favorite photo I've ever taken. It was a friend of mine, Emanuela. We interned together at our church. Again, I took this with the same phone, iPhone 8 Plus. This is in Zimbabwe, on our way home from a mission trip, right near Beitbridge border, just before we crossed it. And we just had a moment on a quiet road. All of us were kind of chilling. There was about 20 of us, and we were all just chilling, making tea and coffee on the side of the road, all tired, ready to go home. And I was like, hey, let me grab this photo. The weather was perfect, cloudy, but like super, super moody. And I just took this. I thought it was great. Like, um, yeah, just everything about this photo I think is perfect in my opinion, and I love it. Again, shout out to Visco for the edit. This one is a fairly modern one, but this one actually is such a duality. The same day I took this photo, I was actually robbed. All my stuff was stolen, like my laptop, hard drives, film camera. Thankfully, I had my camera on me to take this, but like my bag with all my stuff was in the car, and the car was broken into. And so, what was one of my favorite photos, and arguably a really good day, I really enjoyed this day, um, was completely ruined by the fact that it was all like my stuff was gone. It's so interesting. I remember editing this photo after the fact, and just like like almost forgetting the fact that I was robbed this day. But this was like you couldn't even like paint a perfect like scene, golden hour, but then the sun was just reflecting so beautifully over the sea. This is in Cape Town again. This was in 2023, I think, um, and it just created this beautiful like effect on the side of the buildings. Like I hardly edited this. Like the colors you see are almost the colors that were there on that day. That glow was like, it was so intense, and I just like I need to take a photo of this. I also just love the fact that like no one else is taking a photo in this of that moment. I guess people in Cape Town are just so used to this, which is cool. Shout out. But yeah, I love it. But again, I love this photo for one, it being a great landscape, but another being the fact that um, it was also just one of the worst days in my whole life. This is a portrait I took of my friend Anazad, a good friend of mine who's just really killing it in this social media space at the moment. We did this because she was a top 10 finalist for Miss South Africa back in 2022. And we needed to take some photos of like some of her sponsors. The earrings was one, Woolworths with the clothes and everything. So it was probably like my first kind of campaign driven shoot. Um, so this was cool. And she's like amazing in front of camera. So she was like so easy to work with and great to shoot with. And again, I just loved the moment. Very little editing here. We shot in a natural light studio, so the colors are almost straight out of camera. And this was like the year where I really fell in love with like taking photos. We worked together at the same agency, um, and it's hilarious because I hated every second I was there. Like it was probably like one of the worst decisions ever, saying yes to joining that company. But the flip side of that was I met such incredible people and worked with like some good friends of mine, made really good friends, and like to this day, like still remain such good friends. And I think my passion for photography was really birthed there. I always took photos, but there was a Sony A7 III that was the company camera. That's what I used for this. And man, just to like, and I had a Sigma, the 35, the 1.2, and it was just like, oh man, I fell in love with like it's starting to learn about like aperture and all that stuff. It was amazing. Shout out. This one is probably tied with the other photo of Emanuela as my favorite photo. Um, Again, Joel, amazing man, such an incredible creative musician, animator, filmmaker, everything. Just the most incredible dude. Um, and we just at the company we worked at, Joel worked with us as well. Um, there was a floor, the fourth floor of the company was completely empty, so it had like this beautiful like wall, and again like a lot of natural light, so it almost became like a de facto studio for all of us, and especially for me, like every second I just wanted to be there. I didn't want to do any work. um, and I remember just having an idea for like a conceptual idea for a shoot, and Joel was like game, and he did, and we did it, and yeah, just everything. Like I love the fact that it's only like the knuckles of his hands that are in focus, and everything else has this beautiful like bokeh and softness and glow about it. This is again the 35, the 1.2, amazing. Now we get into some film. Um, yeah, the last couple batch of film photos. I probably caught the film wave towards like the end of the craze. Like it's still like a big thing, but sort of last year and the year before, like everyone was shooting film. Like every random person was shooting film, and people just got a disposable camera and they're like, I'm a film photographer. Like, no, you're not. Like, you're really not. But I decided to hop on the train. But I was like experimenting with like proper film stocks, like a lot of the more experimental ones. This is Red Rum, the Lumography film stock, and it creates this like red color. It pulls the reds only because the blue and the green chemical, I don't know, I can't explain that my words are finished. But anyway, it's all your photos come up with like this red orange kind of vibe. And I took this on the Diamond Skywalk thing at Santon at around sunset, and I took this, and this is completely out of camera. Like this is literally how the photo came out. I didn't edit it whatsoever. And it just reminded me of Blade Runner, the film, especially the 2049, Denis Villeneuve. I think one of the most beautiful films ever. And yeah, just was so reminiscent of that, completely like fluky. I did not plan for it to look like this, but I think that's the beautiful thing about like creating stuff. Like sometimes it is in the mistakes and in the unknown where you actually create something so beautiful. There's a lesson there. I hope you listened. This was the very same floor that I took that photo of Joel with the hand in front of his face. And again, it's so like interesting where the same building where I had so much like despair and hate for my life because I just really thoroughly disliked everything I was doing at that company. There was moments of joy, and like this floor was one of them. Like that wall with this light, I just found so much like peace there. And I took this on Ektachrome. No, sorry, on Ektar 100. I just come back from a trip from Cape Town, and I still had some film left over. And then this was like one of the shots I took. And again, like just tried to compose it like almost like it's telling a story. And for me, it's just like this speaks so much to how much fun and joy I found just in this portion of the building. Yeah, it was brilliant. This again this was Portra 800, sorry. Again, experimenting with like a lot of the more niche type film stocks. Took this in the morning. I was having coffee with a friend of mine at Rosetta, and yeah, I love this photo, man. It just the colors, the greens, again, all out of camera. Didn't edit it at all. This photo ended up being used by Hillsong California as like their welcome home, the slide for welcome home. I guess Cape Town looks enough like California where they wouldn't have known. I upload a lot of my images on Unsplash, so this was one of the ones that got a lot of a lot of traction, and yeah, it was super popular, and I just love it. It's livelihood. It's also a moment that I remember quite fondly, and yeah, perfect. I love shooting when it's cloudy. I'm also like a natural light kind of guy, so I also love the fact that this was just, again, all just one thing I love about film is that there's no retakes, and you just take the shot, and whatever comes out, that's the shot. I don't like taking forever to set up a shot. I just take it and I move on. It's the best. And last but not least, this is like, I think this is the first film photo I ever took. And I just love it. Again, it pays homage to the Human Nature series that James Popsey was doing, mixing kind of a human-made element into like a more natural thing, even though it's a man-made building. But I just love the fact that it's so like, I think you can just kind of place yourself in the scene and think so much about what it could mean and why. And you know what I mean? It's just so beautiful. I mean, I wish I didn't include that top left yellow sign, but I think it also works. It really does. I also don't like editing, especially film photos. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Like by all means, do it. But I do like when a photo is taken, you just kind of use it, and even if it's like janky, it makes you a better photographer because you now know how to dial it in better, or set it up better, I should say. Yeah, so that's it. Again, a bit of a catfishy episode, or a catfishy vlog where I'm talking about how I don't like being a photographer, but then we're going through photos that I've taken as a photographer. Anyway, all to say, if you've reached this point, like and subscribe and comment and do the things, the YouTube things. But also, I hope this is a fun little lesson for you to just do what you want, create what you want, have fun, and don't let anyone define you. As much as I'm a photographer, I'm also not a photographer. That is a true statement. So don't call me a photographer because I won't respond to your messages. Just saying. Anyway, the music is coming back in. Peace out. Have a great time. Love you all.